Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Kenneth. The topic for today is dating and relationships. As you watch the clip of the day, I want to know if you agree that the reason dating is trash is because men are not doing well enough financially. All right, let's play the clip.
Dating is trash right now because the men are not doing well financially. And this is being reported on, yes, but I'm also speaking from in the field. In the last 2 years, majority of the guys that I've met on dating apps have all been unhappy in their career to some varying degree. I would say the finance guys all have expressed wanting to be making more money. And the blue collar and blue collar adjacent guys have all sort of expressed feeling like they've hit some max capacity in the amount of money that they can make in their industry or their field, and then wanting to do a career pivot to correct for that, but then also suggesting well, let me go get a master's, and then incurring student loan debt on top of an already large amount of student loan debt, which personally I think is not a good idea. And then I just see it becoming this vicious cycle. So men are raised to believe that they need to be the provider. And so if they're not where they want to be in their career, they're not where they want to be financially, then they don't feel that they can be providing. So they can't actually commit and settle down in a relationship, but they're still out there dating because they want the physical intimacy. Whereas women, we're in the dating field looking for a relationship, and most women are making as much, if not more, than their male counterparts today. So we're out there actively looking, but then, the men aren't actually available for a relationship because they're not where they want to be in their career or financially. And so then the women experience rejection, and the more rejection we experience, the less we want to be actively in the dating pool. And so we take ourselves out. And how are we ever gonna get together and procreate if we are tapping out? And it's easy for women to tap out. I think a lot of us find celibacy very peaceful. And so we bounce. But then I'm out here, and it's the more I feel rejection and the more I get discouraged, and I'm okay, I'm really not meeting anybody who's on my level, or I'm not meeting somebody who's a good match for me, the more I get into the mindset of well, I'm a single person with a single income household. I need to do whatever I can to set myself up financially to live in this world as a single person. And so then I work really hard on having my finances in order. And the more that I've got my finances in order and I've got my shit together, the harder it gets for me to find somebody who's on my level, because now I'm just continuing to outpace the guys that are in my age range. And so it's becoming this impossible loop that I don't know how to get out of, because I'm also not really willing to lower my standards or accept disrespect or just weird behavior. I don't have time for that, nor do I care to entertain that. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm not saying it's the guy's fault that they're not making the amount of money that they want to be making, or that the amount of money that one would feel is enough to feel comfortable getting into a relationship and being able to be a provider. Although I think most people, doesn't matter your gender, most people are willing to argue at this point that it's, you don't need to be the complete breadwinner or provider or whatever. It's a little bit more 50-50. But regardless, if that's how they feel, then that's how they feel. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm not just saying it because I'm theorizing. This is what I am seeing in the guys that I'm meeting, and this is primarily on dating apps, but this is what's happening, and I don't know how we get out of it.
If you listen to the entire clip, you'll learn that she believes that the reason dating is trash is because men are not earning enough money compared to the women that they are dating. Men have this expectation that they should be the provider. And if you're living in one of these big cities, you can do the calculation and say, you know what, I'm not earning enough money to start a family. I'm not earning enough money to get married. But I disagree. If that were the case, then men who earn a lot of money would have no problem getting married and staying married. And men who don't earn much would have a hard time getting married. But I've met men who earn a lot of money and they have a hard time finding someone to marry. And I've also met men that don't earn a lot of money and they're happily married. The issue is she is looking for something long term, and the men that she is meeting are looking for something short term. She needs to change where she is looking for men so that she can begin finding men that share her long-term relationship goals. As you become more successful and you move up in your career, the harder it is to socialize. You just don't have as much time. And since it's harder to socialize, it's harder to find a match and someone who understands marriage. Some people look at marriage as something that you do after you become wealthy. And others view marriage as something that you do independently of how wealthy you are. I call it a short-term versus a long-term view of marriage. Now, if you have a short-term view, you're mostly concerned about your quality of life and the quality of life of your children. So you're already looking for someone who has wealth or can preserve wealth. If you have a long-term view of marriage, a lot of times you'll look for someone who can not just have wealth for themselves, but could generate wealth and create wealth within the marriage. And you're more concerned about the quality of life, not just of yourself and your children, but the quality of life of your grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. If you're in group one, a lot of times you're just interested in what is your quality of life? And if you're in group two, you're thinking about, okay, how do I create generational wealth so that the generations that come after me can have a better quality of life than I have? If you're in the first group, you may see your dating experience and your desire for long-term relationships. You may see that manifesting in different qualities you look for. You may be looking for someone who has good business acumen, someone who has savings and a good investment strategy, and other associated skills that you would need in order to preserve wealth. If you're in the second group, you may be looking for different qualities than the first group. You may be looking for honor and integrity and generosity, kindness. You may be looking for qualities that allow you to live with someone for the rest of your life, plus create a legacy that will last across multiple generations. You may just be looking for two different things. If you're in the first group, great. There's a lot of people out there in that first group, but if you're in the second group and you're finding a lot of people that are in the first group, this can cause so much wasted time and wasted effort because you're looking for someone who thinks long-term about marriage, and you're finding a lot of people that think short-term about marriage and about creating a legacy. This wasted time leads to wasted effort. And when you waste time and effort, you're also wasting money. And when you're wasting money, that leads to frustration. And too much frustration can lead to disappointment, and too much disappointment leads to despair. We cannot forget that there are 45,000 people every single year that lose their battle to despair. So this is very serious. If you are dating or you're looking for a relationship and you're having a hard time finding someone who shares your long-term relationship goals, it may be possible that you are looking in the wrong place. Consider changing where you are seeking to find a long-term partner. If you're out there and you're in a happy relationship and it's all working out well for you, share what worked for you. Share how you met your partner, your lifelong partner. There may be someone out there who can use that information and use it as an idea of where they could potentially find their lifelong partner. There's a lot of places out there where you can find people who think short-term about relationships and short-term about marriage, but it's very difficult to find people who think long-term about relationships and long-term, I'm talking multiple generations, about marriage. All right, that's the message that I have for you today. I'll see you in the next video.